Computer. All right, so we have hit the recording button and we're here on the 5th of March, 8:30, 3 p.m. and we are having our weekly calls, our team trainings, and we have the pleasure and yeah, just a massive appreciation of having Talia de Guilio Adams. I hope I pronounced your name right. If I butchered it, please correct me if I'm right, if I'm wrong. Okay, I got there. And yeah, so Talia, I actually don't know your background. I don't know what you do for work, so it'd be awesome if you could go into that. But basically, Talia's achieved a phenomenal milestone in isogenics recently, hitting 3-star golden circle and now entering the ranks into the Start 1000, which is freaking amazing. So the Start 1000 is 1,000 individuals from the ages of 18 to 35 that have reached a 6-figure income, which means Talia has helped a lot of people. She's helped a lot of people and she's impacted a lot of lives, both physically and financially. So yeah, welcome to the call.
Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, it's really good to have you here. And I just, kind of want to ask, let's hear a little bit about your story. If you could, what do you currently do and how were you introduced to isogenics?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll keep it short and brief. So I was introduced to isogenics. We're just under 2 years now. I hit a point in my life where I generally had the weight to lose, and like Nat would know, I come from a creative background, so come from the arts, good old arts, and yeah, I got started on the program just like every wonderful human being does with isogenics, and I was actually quite skeptical in the beginning. Everyone meets me now and I'm like the most positive person ever, but I was really skeptical when I started. And then, a month in, I was 7 kilos down. And for me, it was just being a 25-year-old feeling like I had incredible energy and forgetting what that felt like. It kind of went from there. I went to Europe with my now husband at the time. I remember saying and asking myself, let's see how good this really is, and was gone for 6 weeks and didn't gain any weight and felt incredible. And then over Christmas, the journey began. I was putting some photos on Facebook, and then, the whole sharing kind of vision eventuated from there, and the rest is history. So I do have a creative arts background. I just recently got certified in fitness instructing, so I'm now a fitness instructor.
There you go.
Who would have ever thought? No, but I'm sure we'll get into it in a bit of the call, but it's been a blessing in disguise. It's generally changed my energy and even my ISA business in the last 3 months massively. It's been awesome. So that's what I do now. And then obviously I do ISA on the side, which is really good to throw in there.
Yeah, we'll touch on that. But just to kind of give people context, basically we're going to be delving into tonight the mindset of basically reaching executive. That's really what we kind of want to touch base with. And we do have the Executive Summit coming up. And I knew that you and Natalie actually hit that, I think, earlier last year, I believe. And I would just like to ask, what did that mean to you? Like when you hit exec that time and you were at that event, what did it mean for you?
Yeah. Can I just do something? Because I always love doing this. It's like a weird thing I do. Josie and Robin and Alex. Hi, guys. I was saying hi. So executive, what that meant to me. So I say with an epic amount of love. I've never been a very business-driven, I've just never been business-driven ever in my life. And I think once I hit manager in the business, I really started to catch the vision of the depth of what isogenics offered, right? So when I hit exec, which is very odd, it was exactly the same week last year that I hit executive, the same week I hit 3-star this year. It was total, I know now, it was total by coincidence. And I had Jen, and I say it very humbly, but last year I went manager to executive in a week. And I had Jen screenshot me, a director, celebrating me at director Thursday of last week, a year ago, saying, can you believe that you had just hit director? And I had just hit the Wednesday night, I'd hit 2-star. So I went from 1-star to 3-star in a week, which is nuts. But hitting exec, honestly, it really had nothing to do with me. It had everything more to do with the team. And actually hitting a point where I had 12 consultants. So it was like 12 people, 6 of which were my consultants, 2 of my managers, like genuinely getting a vision just like I did. And I think we could all agree that when you start to hit that level in the business, I think that's really where you have a game changer moment, because everyone's kind of getting it how you do. So that's what it meant to me. In Summit, which Nat would know was, that was next level. So
yeah, wow. And so doing so what happened after you hit exec the first time? Did you lose consultants? What kind of happened in between then and now?
So I'm always really transparent in saying I always feel like, and the people in this business are really good at keeping it very humble, but I always feel like it's good for people to know generally the ups and downs and not just the highs, right?
Yeah.
So again, very humbly, I stayed executive for a good 8 months of last year. I generally had some moments in and out of that. A month of that was which I was on my honeymoon. So even though I was away and I dropped off executive, my business was still happening, right? But I had a really, and I don't know Nat or anyone that would relate to this, but I had a really hard time October of last year getting my head around almost reinventing myself again in the business. I'd hit exec and I'd felt like everyone says you've got to go it again and do it again and you've got to keep doing the legwork. And I really struggled to do that. I fell off and not that I didn't know how to get myself back, but because I'm a very wear my heart on my sleeve type of person, I got very attached to my team. And even whether it was by coincidence or some had things going on, some of them just didn't want to get back there. Some weren't interested anymore. And the big aha moment that I had was just realizing that you really can't ever be attached to the team. You just have to keep doing the do and pouring the love, and the people will vibe and want to do the work, to their certain extent. But I hit exec February of last year, stayed at exec till August, and solidly paid as an exec till August. And then I think I might have dropped off a couple of weeks in between, got myself back, and then really I only hit exec January again of this year.
Okay. Wow.
Talia, on that, before James goes to the next question,
did
you reignite the consultants that had dropped off, or did you just find fresh ones?
I reignited 3 of them, and the rest of them were all fresh. Yeah.
So out of the 12 that you had started with, 3 of them reignited, and then a fresh new 7.
And 2 of them have always been my consultants. One's now a 1-star. She's a 1-star director, so she's gone director, and another one's manager. So I've had a good, James, 5 to play with, that have been really solid. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And just so for everyone listening to this wants to go exec. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to do it.
Cool.
So you're working. How many hours are you working a week with your job? With your job that you have at the moment?
So I was singing teaching, and I'd planned on cutting that back so I could do more ISA, and it turned out my piloxing ended up taking much more time than I'd expected.
Yep.
So right now, and I won't get into my 3-star week because that was nuts, but on average I'd probably say I'm doing a good 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day of isogenics.
Okay. So, but with your full-time work, singing and piloxing, how many hours are you spending on that a week?
On my normal job. On average, I would be at 6 to 7 hours a day, every day, Monday to Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, because a lot of people, and I'm working full-time myself, working 8:30 till 5:30. And with those that are going to exec, what is the mindset of going there? Because it is very unknown to people. For someone who wants to go there, who has never been there, what would you suggest around their mindset?
It's funny because the people, and I always refer back to me, you honestly, I mean, James, you nailed it. You're working a full day, like 8:30 to 5:30, but I generally say exec or not. And I get a bit of tough love with this. Like, if you read the hours, whether you're doing ISA full time or you're doing it 1 hour a week, it doesn't matter. If you want to get to exec, you'll find the hours in the day to do it. And in saying that, you want to remember that 90% of your business are working 9 to 5 anyway. So when you're working your business during the day, everyone's at work. You ever found if you're doing this predominantly, like, and I find this still, I struggle with it, where it's hubby and I's time to kind of zone out at night. And sometimes I catch myself, I'm on my phone because I've been on it all day, but I'm on my phone coaching or in management mode with either my team or even people I spoke to during the day because they're now free at 5, 6, 7, 8 at night, right? So if you're wanting to go to exec, my biggest thing I would say to you is just pockets of your time. People don't appreciate the pockets of your time. I've succeeded in the business the most when I've had the least amount of time to do it because it creates urgency.
I love that. Yes. So that's exactly what Nat has just asked. Like, do you find being busier is more helpful to make you more efficient outside of Isogenics? Yeah. I've definitely found that as well, for sure. I was doing promo last year and had so much free time. And now that I have, I'm working 8:30 to 5:30, I'm like, no, these are my times. Like, these like 7:20 and freaking like, these are my times. And
you'll want to do it as well. It'll allow the mindset to shift a little bit. You're not doing it. It's even like your normal job. You get over your normal job if you're doing that too much as well. So it's like anything. Yeah.
And awesome. So, okay, I had another question. So basically, you've helped a lot of people. So let's get into like creating consultants. Like, how do you go about creating consultants?
I create FOMO, first of all. I do a really good job at that. And that sounds weird, but it's true, right? So I will have to say I'm very fortunate. My business page, I'm connected with Jen Jeffries, so we're connected in that, okay? And when we connect on our business page, she's quite often always celebrating people all the time, right? And so naturally what that does for me is if I'm having the conversations behind closed doors about you share, they share, or I'm going to jump from, okay, so first of all, I'll start with this. What I physically do, and I'll just use the last month as a good example. I took the time to pick up my phone, no messages, nothing. I took the time to pick up my phone. Hey, Gemma. Hey, Amy. Hey, Ivana, whatever. You've got half an hour for a call tonight. Let's set it out. Cool, Tal. This is when I'm free. Great. And we literally got on the phone. I said, cool. For the next month, what is your why? What could you do with an extra however amount of money for the next week? Not even month. When you specifically break it down, okay, cool. This is what you can use it for. And what do you want to use it for? Oh, well, Tal, I'd love to buy my daughter a new cot or whatever, et cetera, right? And when you get really intentional with your people, they physically see that the money is in front of them, right? So if I go, okay, so what would that feel like to hit consultant? You're gonna be able to sign up two wonderful people, get them their health. You're gonna get the bonuses in doing it. Get a consultant bonus and double PIBs, and then naturally they all, oh wow, and this money and this money and this money, and you just create curiosity around it, right? So rather than actually, and this is where my business went backwards at some point, I was pushing way too much of what people didn't want. And I had to go, okay, bless and release. You actually don't want this right now. I'm going to focus my time and energy with people that do. So my biggest thing where I think a lot of us in the business get stuck is people go, how are you creating consultants? I don't believe that there is any right or wrong in a person at that time, but a lot of people are spending way too much time focusing on people that don't want it right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So focus on the people that actually are showing you. Always also remember, guys, respect your own time. This took me a really long time to get. I was not respecting my own time, and I'd be talking to everyone and, oh, she doesn't really want it, but I'll keep trying to breathe the life into her. And I realized that I was like deflating myself at the same time. Do we all feel that? Yeah. So how I create consultants, I create FOMO, but if there's anything, I intentionally break it down. And every single one of my now consultants at exec are generally people there that really want it, that really want to work the business. Every single one of my consultants is coming to celebration. I was like, non-negotiable. You want to learn the business, you get to celebration. Done. It's a game changer. Get there, right? It's just, you get it. You give a bit of tough love. And we all do the business differently, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to just touch on this because how do people get to that posture where you're like, look, this is what you want, you're coming to celebrations. Like, this is, you want this business, so, you know, this tough love, because some people haven't practiced that skill and that energy. So what could you suggest for people that are a little bit of a people pleaser? I was one of those people. That could, what could people do to start, you know, strengthening that muscle of like, this is what you got to do, and this is a non-negotiable. Yeah.
Yep. So what I would say first and foremost, on top of anything, is you need to reap what you sow. If you're telling people to do what you want, you best know you're doing exactly that, right? So that would be my first. Second of all, it's no excuse, but I know for me it comes a little bit easier than, I use my husband as a good example, right? I'm a massive red. So for me to be a bit tough and firm is actually not hard for me to do, right? But for other people to be a little bit firm and certainty, like you said, James, how do you create that belief in them? You have to work on that, right? Mm-hmm. So I know it's an odd tool and it's odd to talk about, but for me, podcasts, like I'm always fueling my brain with something that I relate to, that I go, cool, well, if I hear that in Tony Robbins, or if I hear that in, you know, Rachel Pett, or whoever I hear, I go, oh, that's what I like in myself. That's a cool quality, right? Mm-hmm. So I always believe you got to resonate with people that work for you. And come from that place. But again, it sounds crazy. It's how do you have certainty? Literally doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And hoping people, you know, I'm now 2 years in, I think Nat, we're the same, maybe Nat a little bit longer. And it's like this whole, people start to come around and see, oh my God, she's still doing this thing that she was doing like 6 months ago, a year ago. She's still going to those events. She's still doing that thing that she spoke about to tell me to go to. And I'm even talking existing people that are in your business that'll go, wow, she's still doing that. Like, how's she still doing that? Yeah. So I know that sounds like word jargon, but
that's all good. Yeah. I love that. It's like, what I really liked is how you said, listen to podcasts and who you resonate with, you know, use them, embrace them, get them, and get that verbiage out in your day to day. So, awesome. So where do I go next? What would I like to?
The Blitz Week.
Yeah, the Blitz Week. Who said that?
I love that. I was actually saying this. I know we're recording this, but Jordan was like, I was like, babe, I'm getting on Nat's call. And Jordan's like, her voice. Like, it was just so random. It was so random. Because Nat's always just that one that you hear. It's just like you can spot her from a mile away. Everyone agrees on this call. Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The Blitz.
The Blitz Week. So the Blitz Week. So let's talk about that. And you said at the beginning of the call, you said that, you know, you hitting exec was all, it wasn't even about you. It was all about the team. It's all about the team getting together and freaking rocking this. So could you, kind of just map out and describe how did you plan your Blitz Week, if you did, and how did you execute it?
So it was 3 parts. And 3 very important parts. 1, I decided a week and a half before we all were hitting our goals. So keeping in mind, yes, I hit 3-star, but one of my team went 1-star. Another 3 of them went 5-star bonus. Like every single one of us had our goals to hit. We had a campaign that was called BYO Besties that we were running 2 weeks before we were all blitzing, right? And 4 of us, which is, I always love sharing this because I've had a few people ask me now, like, we were not linked by any means. 4 of us girls in Isogenics came together and we got the really amazing idea, and I do not take credit for it. I'm really close with Summer, who always also does the business. And she said that this campaign really worked for her over a year ago. And for me, it was realizing, I listened to a call, you've all probably heard it, at the end of the year. Anna Richards did it. I believe it was Robbie Pollock and somebody else. And they all spoke about the fact that they held a campaign to be able to get them to that next level. And I thought, well, that's just goddamn genius. And that makes a lot of sense, right? So we did that, first and foremost. I will be really honest with you in saying it helped. It generally was not by any means. And I feel like people would want to think that it's what got us over the line. It really wasn't. It created curiosity. We created a bunch of Facebook lives around it. So every Thursday and Sunday night, me or Joe or Dimity or Joe, one of us were hopping on, hey, let's talk about nutritional cleansing, or, let's talk about a trio challenge. Who are you and two besties that want to do? And we created that. And what that gave was just a sense of everyone remembering what I did, I guess, without throwing out isogenics, right? So that really helped. And I think I was able to make 2 consultants from that, with, somebody being able to sign and, doing it with 2 other people, which is a really smart strategy, right? The week prior, I plugged my team, and it's good to remember, yes, I went exec, but I picked 6 of my team to run with, only 6. And 4 of them were my personally enrolled, and another 2 were 2 PE under me, okay? And we just decided, what is the legwork we need to do? Let's pick this week and let's run. And we did decide, and we all know this, if you want to run a big week, like to hit 3-star or something like that, it's just not going to happen on an average week. It really just isn't, right? So at the end of the day, we did that. We got really non-negotiable on our goals. What do you want to do? And then, to be honest, I challenged them to the max. I didn't, and this is how I want to do my business. I did not want to hit Monday night knowing we were running that week going, we did all the work. It was all done. We already prepared it weeks ago, because I just don't think that's authentic at all. Okay. So I'll be really transparent. I had 3 signups the week of Monday night ready to bank. 2 of them were my consultants that were ready to start and ready to go. One was in Canada, one was in the States, and another one was
here. And they
here.
were consultants ready to go, so they had 2 people with them?
Yep, ready to go. And the cool thing as to why that happened is because I really dig deep with their why. One of them I'd met on Cancun in a trip like 6 years ago, and she wanted to generally get, her and her husband out of debt a little bit, and she wanted to help her parents, right? So plug them with some health system, make some money at the same time, right? Monday night came around. I had 3 to put in the system. I think 2 of my team had like 1 each. And so the blitz was great, but the blitz generally happened the week of the blitz. Yeah. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was us blitzing. We were in the week as if the week were happening. Yeah. The amount of 3-way calls I did the week that I went to 3-star, and I will be very transparent, it's not relatable to everyone. I was pulling 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. days every week I went 3-star. Every day, that I went 3-star. I had a poster in front of me. It was a non-negotiable. I am 40 cycles. I am 3-star. Start 1,000. Done. And Jen Jeffries gave me something that I want to tell all of you on the call. She said, I don't want you to be reliant on anyone, not even your team. They're going to deliver. You need to lift them up, but they may not get over the line with their people. So you need to play and do that work, right? And even though it's teamwork, by you doing that, every day that was going by, I was hitting more and more signups. And I think come Wednesday, from 3, I ended up having 9 signups. I signed 2 ultimates in a cafe. My certainty was, and it's crazy because it was totally, it was my defining moment. I'll never be the same with the business. I just didn't give 2 rats bums who I was talking to. I was like, everyone needs isogenics. I'm going to talk to everybody. That was just and because of that, they were seeing, we have a leader thing that shows every week what we do. My team were going, oh my God, Talia's gone from 3. Now she's at 6. Now she's at 9. And that created even an incentive for them to keep going. Okay. So, the Blitz week was awesome. Everyone talks about what happens before the Blitz week. What happened was I got my team generally excited. They knew they were all in to do the do, but they knew that week was actually doing the work. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I wanted, because that's levels deep under me in years to come. That's how I want to run my business. I'm not all for the let's do the lead up 6 weeks before, let's bank the sign. I'm not all for that. I'm about doing the work as it goes along. Right. Yeah. Did that answer a lot, James? There was a lot in there. Yeah. Yeah,
there was a lot. That was great.
Yeah.
And I love just just how real you're bringing it. 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. non-negotiables.
My eyes are still recovering. I don't know if you can.
Yeah. So that was, and I just loved how Yeah, you touched on that, like that certainty, and that, like, everyone needs Isogenics. That week it was like, you signed 2 people up at a cafe. What, did you meet them at the cafe and then that was it?
It was. I don't want to go woo-woo on you, and Nat knows this about me. Like, I can be a weird trip when I feel like it.
I'm a weird trip as well. You're preaching to the choir.
And I was sitting at a cafe after my Piloxing classes. I had a 2-hour gap on a Tuesday, and I was like, I'm not going home. I'm going to sit at a cafe and I'm going to meet everyone that I can. One girl saw me from afar at the cafe. I follow you on Instagram. Are you Talia? It was the weirdest thing. Very stalkerish at first. It was off-putting. But 5 minutes later, like, she's sitting down. I asked her over for a coffee. I'm like, come sit, let's chat. Like, anyway, before she knew it, like, she's like, what do you actually do? Like, I always see what you're doing in the Body Love Project. What is this? Yada, yada. I said, I'm actually doing, which was the last thing I wanted to tell you, James. The last thing we ran with was a 30-day challenge. I was slipping like a flyer that I'd made, super colorful, super friendly, in people's messenger inbox. Hey, lovely, shooting you a love note, just letting you know that we've got a 30-day challenge. Don't know if you've been following from afar what I've been doing. Would love to hear from you if you want to know more. It was just sending them out. And with her, it was just, I'm doing a 30-day challenge. If you generally are interested and you've been seeing what I'm doing, you want to feel better about yourself, she's like, great, sign me up, where I can do. Ultimate pack, done.
Yes. Wow. That's
belly
awesome.
To belly, I have, as somebody that is very, I'm more impactful in person. Even though a lot of my business is on social media, I'm very impactful in person. And so the belly to belly, and if I look at my retention in my business, they're the ones that are staying and ordering the most. The ones that have actually met with me, seen with me, I've given them the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do that, but yeah, if you can, do.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to touch on just like that Blitz week, right? Like, let's hit numbers. Like, I want to get really specific with what you were actually doing. So when you were blitzing, how many, were you sending out those infographics and saying, hey babe, like, let's do this, whatnot? Were you calling people? Were you sending Instagram videos? What specifically were you doing to, one, invite people, follow up? To inviting people in and following people up. Yeah.
So the template was massive. I used the template a lot. It had the 30-day, and I'm happy to send it to one of you if you guys want to use it across your team. It was a simple, just like a template like we all see if you make up your own, had my email at the bottom. And I actually, for the first time, decided to write Isogenic Solutions at the bottom. I never do that. I always like to keep curious, but I just thought I'm just going to go out on a limb and see how that works. And it was very odd. I didn't get any objections around it. So I don't know if it was my certainty or just not putting that out. But my template was massive, and anytime I got a curiosity from that template, I was just not wasting time. Hey, shoot me a number, or let's go out and get on a call on Messenger. And I was literally on back-to-back calls. I was just phoning them and speaking to them in person. Yeah. And that's why I say big game changer for my business, because I've noticed that it actually is much more effective in doing that. On Instagram, because I was doing the same thing, Instagram was the same, where I was doing the inbox, and it was generally the same thing. Here's my number. When you're off work, let's have time for a quick call, right? So that was a big tool that I was using. Anyone that was ready to go, I was obviously plugging them into our health page, tagging them in something that might be relevant. Hey, this is a cravings post. Let me tag you in it and read about it, whatever. But again, this week was different to every other week. If we're talking a normal week and you're doing the business as per normal, there's that side of things. But if you're looking at running to exec or 2-star or whatever you want to do, my big belief now is you really have to go, okay, let me pick one week to really run and know that. And my husband will tell you, I was a massive ghost last week. I was a ghost through and through. And it was just a commitment that we had decided. He was behind me doing it. I was behind me doing it. And that was it. But tools and the template was massive. Phone calls. And 3-ways, like massive on the 3-ways. And Jen was for me, and I was for my team. Yeah.
So with it. Oh yeah, you go. Nah.
I was just going to ask Talia, like, obviously you have that certainty and that clarity, but when, let's say, we have some more timid teammates who say, well, I want it, what do I do?
Yeah. So it's funny now you say that, because more than half of my team are the total opposite to me. And so I have to dial up and down in doing that. But I've noticed that I plug them in with somebody else in my team that's similar to them. So, for example, I've got Amy, who's the total opposite to me. She's a massive white, okay? And she really resonates with Ivana. They happen for that week to be going for the same goal, right? So I plugged them together and I said, the two of you hold each other accountable, okay? You guys are both coming from the same place. You've got the same personality traits. This is what's going to work. If you guys are talking to your cross members or whoever you're talking to, plug each other in each other's 3 ways. And my team were really opened, Nat, to helping the team. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
My team was open to helping me, and Amy was happy helping the person on my left side, and she's on the other side. Yeah. I just was trying to create a team culture of going, this really is what it's about, one team. But yeah, the personality thing, I wouldn't say I've nailed it. I would just say, being a red or not, I just think that my certainty just related to all of them. It didn't really matter how red I was. It was just certainty. Oh, let me take that certainty. Yeah. I don't know.
So
and you mentioned, James, just before I forget, you mentioned the statistics of numbers. I don't like people telling people if what they hear is not actually the case. So I picked to run on my lowest week of cycles. Don't ask me why. I just picked to do it. I don't know. I just wanted a challenge and I did that. And my estimated cycles for the week was 2. So I was very far off, and I'm being transparent with all of you. I went from 2 to 41 cycles in a week, including ghost cycles. And you guys can explain that more to your team on it. But because I was doing, so many signups myself, a lot of those cycles were also ghost cycles, which I never really understood until I did this week, right? What I would say is everyone is going to be different running. Some people, we had the biggest rank advancement week in Isagenix history ever last week, right? Some people wouldn't have had to, and it's not working as hard, but some people wouldn't have had to do as many signups as I did. I had to do that because I had to get me over the line, right? But I feel like when you have to do more of the work, it gets you more involved, if that makes sense. So Wednesday night, I was sitting at, I can't remember what it was, raw, but I had hit 2-star. So from Monday night to Wednesday night, I went from 2 to 20 cycles. Okay. And yeah, and the team were just in massive action. 4 of them already got their double PIBs by Tuesday night. Yeah. And even now, tonight is pay week for them. So already seeing, we all know it comes in like, Talia, are you fucking crazy? Like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like,
want to do it again?
That's what it's about. Yeah. And I will. In a month's time, we're planning on running again, because as exhausting as it is, you have to keep the momentum.
Yeah. Awesome. So we've got, just want to be aware of time. We've got 10 minutes left, but, so you plan, how many blitz weeks would you plan a month? Would you do 1 blitz week a month, or do you plan on doing a blitz week for the rest of this year? Like, what are you planning to do?
It depends on how full on we're talking blitz week. And I would say doing a blitz week once a month is really healthy. Being able to do one the first week of every month is awesome, because it sets you up for the month.
Yeah.
It knows where you're at come the end of the month. You can track where your business is. And yeah, for me right now, I set that goal with the team. Every week of the first month, we just run and do what we can. Yeah.
Awesome. And so looking, like, obviously we're Robin, sorry, this always happens. We talk about the young people, 18 to start moving, and then we're like, and Robin, you freaking legend.
Hey, Robin, you legend.
Yeah, legend. So God, love it. So what do you see the potential for young people to use this as a vehicle for themselves? Like, where do you see Isagenix and network marketing as a profession?
If I can sum it up like this, my week last week, we had 5 countries involved. I keep doing this and it looks like I'm doing double of everything I'm saying. It's just I'm massively Italian and I use my hands, right? 5, half, sorry. I know, it's so Italian. So we had 5 countries playing, and for me to see that physically in my business oh, there's the US, there's the UK, there's Singapore. Oh, what the hell? There's Canada, like Australia. That went, wow, this is big. This is really big, right? And what I see for the Start Your Life movement, I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question. I've been asked it literally in the last 24 hours and I'm struggling to answer it. What I do know is if you ask me what I was led by the most, and I've quietened my mind in the last 48 hours of like, Jen said to me, what did you want the most hitting this? Was it the money? Was it 3-star? What was it? And I was like, I wanted to be Start 1000. I wanted to hit Start 1000 because to me, it was the legacy of what that felt like, that community that I was able to just plug myself into, that next step, right? And I made a vow. I said, I'm having 20 of my team at Celebration 2018, and I want to be on the stage at Start Your Life, Start 1000, so they can go, 1, what the heck is that? 2, how do we get in? 3, this is where we fit in. Like, this is actually about the 18 to 35-year-olds, right? And I'm really passionate on that because if, you know, naturally being, again, a creative, I haven't always been your average, like, fitted into the norm groups, if that makes sense. So for me, it's actually, it's a big why for me. Yeah. But yeah, if that answered it, James. And then obviously the money's also great.
Yeah. Awesome.
Will you pay it this week, Talia, or was it next week?
I get paid it twice, Nat, because they say go cycles come 2 weeks in arrears. Your natural pay is 2 weeks in arrears. But this week I just saw my pay before I almost had a fit.
What was it? I think
it was
it's inspiring for people.
It was 4,500.
Good on you, babe.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And you know what? Look, that comes from a place that, you know, we've been in a financial snag recently, and it's like to even fathom that in a week is the beauty of this company. It's like that happens in a week. That's ridiculous. Yeah. But it's very important to say that I felt that I worked like people would in 3 weeks in a normal job, right? It's very easy, and we all know this, to go to a normal job and get by, know what you're getting paid every fortnight or whenever you get paid. But to do this every week, not knowing what you're getting paid and actually having to do the work, that's hard. That's hard work. Yeah. Yeah. Don't know what I'll get next week. I'll be sure to let you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's super important and no one talks about it, but it kind of gives you like a tangible thing to be like, okay, I want to achieve that.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it relevant and familiar in people's mouths.
Yeah. And well, I'm out of questions. So
I just want to end. It's totally possible. You think you're so far, like, I will never again, Jen will never say to me, Talia, don't ever tell me you can't do something again. Because I'm telling you guys, Friday morning, I physically thought I had no hair in my head. I hit a moment where I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I actually going to do this? And the only thing I knew I was just certain that either way it was going to happen. I don't know how to explain that. It just was going to happen. And because I committed to that, I couldn't let myself down. So I had to get the results. Does that make sense? When you make a commitment to actually getting the results, you just have to do it. Yeah.
I think that's always the big difference about when you're like going for executive. First, when you're like, I'm going to hit it by this date, no matter what.
And you know what, Nat, this was definitely a bigger and a harder achievement than an executive, for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
You know, even just on the cycle value, even just, you know, and again, I had just hit exec the Monday that I hit. So I had just hit executive again. And then I was like, okay, well, now we have to do 3-star.
Wow. And here's just one last question. How many e-shots did you have that week?
I don't want to tell you.
A day. How many a day?
I was, and this is with ISA being the most convenient lifestyle ever. I was hitting 12 a.m. and forgot to have my dinner shake. Like my mind was this laptop and my phone, and that was it. I was probably popping. We had delivered. My mum and I ordered the goodies of like an ultimate pack a month ago. So I was like, I just need everything that was ever in the ultimate pack. Do you ever find that where you're like, I just need everything the ultimate pack had? So we did that. And I had my mum's. I went over on Wednesday night because I was finished out of my 2 boxes of e-shots. So then I had to go get my mum's. And it wasn't like a spastic out there e-shot happening. It was just, I say this every time. Jen was like, what kept you going? I was like, if it was not for these products, no way would I have been able to do what I just did that week. 2, you must be a product of the product. So every time I was looking at an e-shot, or I was like, e-shot, let's tell people about an e-shot. Like, it all kind of in tunes in one. But I was popping a lot of e-shots, James, and I was gone for a shit ton of amped. Like, I was drinking Replenish, like, yeah. It's the best. I would do it all over again. I would.
Yeah.
But I will say, you just get a disgustingly good work ethic, because nothing can beat that, ever.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to say.
I also wasn't on social media for a week. I just add that. I did all my going, and then that week I was actually off social media, and I want to put it out there because I know our generation, Robin, you too, but we're massive on social media. I realized that week I've now gone, okay, I know how to dial it up and down, because social media was a distraction for me. That's why I was able to do the week I did, because I was off it.
When you say you were off social media, I know I'm way over time. We just got 2 minutes. But when you say off social media, what do you mean by I was off?
I wasn't posting anything on Facebook. I wasn't posting Insta stories. I wasn't doing anything that, and when I do Insta stories, it's sometimes in the light of my personal life. It's also in the light of Isogenics, right? I wasn't posting anything. I just knew I got ready. I was campaigning 2 weeks before, and then I was off social media, and I was just laser focused. And the only thing I was doing on social media was talking to people.
Yeah, those infographics, right?
Yeah.
James, do you want to pause? Do you want to hit stop on the recording?
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. And that was freaking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.